from a relationship aspect, you grew up seeing someone who was much older as like seeing them as an equal because they're in some way still your sister, and so that experience like bred familiarity with people who you would eventually go to with the board. Because like when you're a child, everyone like every adult's like an adult, right? And, and so that's actually so interesting. The following is an interview with Isabella Pivo, or as you could find her on social media, at bella.pivo. Isabella, while only a sophomore, is an incredibly open minded and gifted individual. She's someone who I feel I had a lot in common with in terms of seeing the world, the way that we value open mindedness and exploration, and welcome differences and opinions that we don't consider to be ones that we personally agree with. Listen to her talk about her startup, Peace of Mind, and our collective thoughts on society and pop culture as a whole. But without further ado, Bella.
Oh, I have something, actually.
Yeah.
I do. This is
Yeah.
something that I have written down in my notes. So I feel like a lot of people, okay, bear with me. So I feel like this is something that people punish others for, okay?
Yeah.
Specifically sugar babies who are looking for sugar daddies. I think, hear me out, that we need to stop, like villainizing that type of role, okay? Because here's the thing. If sugar babies can get all of these resources from sugar daddies, and then you befriend the sugar babies, who's to say that the sugar babies won't let you in on some of those rewards? So
Wait, I'm sorry.
yeah.
Say this again. Oh wait. Do you actually want this in or?
Oh no, not. I mean, like I don't
Oh.
really care. You just said
Oh.
something say outlandish, say a hot take, and I was like, this is one of my hot takes that I've
Okay.
been building up for a while.
Oh damn! Wait. Okay, so, I need to listen again because that actually sounded like serious, and I think I actually agree with you.
No,
So
okay.
so restate your opinion.
So I think that we need to stop villainizing sugar babies or
Okay.
women who want to be sugar babies.
Okay.
Because it shouldn't be how can we help you? We should ask them how can you help us? Because if they have access to resources that sugar daddies have, they can give it to us, right? If you're friends with them, share the rewards, share the wealth.
Then isn't that kind of like extended charity though?
Well, if you're friends with them, are your friends charity?
Fair enough. At the same time, like I'm not gonna be like so giving.
I'm
Like
not saying give
like,
away your Louis Vuitton bag.
Okay, fair. I mean, look, when it comes to like, I do agree with you. When it comes to villainizing sugar babies, and I mean, at the end of the day, like we live in a society, right? I mean, look, like
Gotta take that
there was this experiment where they taught monkeys the value of money, and what's the first thing that they used it for? They used it to exchange sex. That was the first thing
No.
they did. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So like the idea that like we're gonna prevent this, right? Who cares? I'm all for it. I support it. I mean, hell, like this is probably a really hot take, but I think that I mean, especially some of my friends, like I've had conversations where they're like, oh, I'm considering OnlyFans, and I say personally, it's like, well, as long as you understand the risks and you're still willing to go along with it, more power to you.
so true. Empowerment.
Like I don't think. I mean, yeah. Like I mean, I don't look down on it. It's at the end of the day, it's like it's entrepreneurial ability. Maybe look, maybe I'm just a little bit biased, but I think that's like some of the coolest. I mean, I'm totally cool with everyone using their unfair advantages to succeed, right? I mean, actually, when we were in San Francisco, by the way, pro tip, right? For any of you at Northeastern University, go to the semester in San Francisco entrepreneurship program.
Good plug there.
We were so open-minded. I remember the first time we went there, it was I don't think it was Michael who was with us, but myself, I don't know if you know who Erica is, and like a few other people. Of course not. We went into a strip club because like why not?
Yes.
And we had like no money to our name, but we like sat down and all these strippers, they spent the whole night like around us because you want to know what we did? We did something that I don't think we gave them something that I think they rarely get in their profession. We took them seriously as human beings. So we like sat with them and we were talking with them, right? I was like just getting to know them. Like quite a few of them in that room. They're paying for their law degrees.
For
right?
real.
I was talking this to this one person. She's like 30 something. She like started it like 6 months ago. She's like, oh, like I like the money was good and I really wanted to do this. Like, but then she's telling me about like her kids. She has 3 kids. One of them's like 16 years old. His goal is to open up like a food truck of his own. I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. Like, dude, quite a night, right? I go into a strip club and like she's telling me about her son's dreams, but like it
Oh,
was really cool.
I think that's
Um,
cool.
and I mean, I don't think I would have ever had a conversation like that if I hadn't taken them seriously
Yeah.
or like seen them. I mean, it's a job, right?
Yeah. Everyone's got to do something to
And
get through.
look, I mean, just I just wish that we taught more people the value of like money and savings and
Yeah.
and finance, because like look, like there's only a few good years really of that, but it's good money.
Yeah.
Right? You put that in an investment account, put that in your Roth IRA. That's
Yeah.
retirement.
Financial
damn.
intelligence, or no, financial literacy. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
It's not common. They'd rather teach us pre-calculus.
They'd rather teach us pre-calculus. What are your thoughts on the education system in America?
I got a lot of issues.
Really?
Well, okay, so so here's my thing. So I was in like a Jewish day school growing up.
You're Jewish.
Like technically, like
Technically.
because interesting story. So my mom converted to Judaism.
Ooh, that's really hard.
Yeah,
Okay, wow.
like right before her and my dad got married, because she was like, "Well, I'm serious about this guy. I'm
That's
gonna,
a really long process.
yeah."
I know somebody who's working to be converted to Judaism. I mean, like they all joke. I mean, like Jewish people joke. You don't want to become Jewish. The amount of time it takes and effort.
It's a lot, because like my uncle's Orthodox Jewish, and like all of the rules they have to follow, and also they have like 7 to 8 kids. I'm like, how do you?
No condom.
No,
No birth control.
it's just like it's just what they do, you know.
Yeah.
And it's I see them a few times a year, maybe. But it's like I can't even hug my own uncle because it's like against the religion.
Really?
Yeah, you
Really?
can't. It's something about how like you can't like hug another woman unless it's your wife or child or something like that. Even if you're like family.
Keep going. Just
Yeah.
double checking.
But so my mom converted to Judaism because they wanted the kid to be Jewish.
Yeah.
And so me, obviously. So I was named in like a Jewish temple when I was like, I don't remember, months old.
Yeah.
And so I went to a Jewish day school, and we practiced Hanukkah, Easter, and Passover. Like we celebrate everything. Because
Damn.
my mom's side of the family does all of the like, I guess, traditional Christian holidays, not for religious reasons, but just to celebrate holidays for tradition.
I feel.
And like they're like huge family gatherings.
Yeah.
So I grew up celebrating huge Christmases and
Damn.
huge
You
Easters.
got all the holidays.
Yeah,
All the gifts.
Thanksgiving, oh yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
That's so cool.
8 days of Hanukkah and Christmas. That was my childhood. It was great. And just I don't know, lots of food all the time. But then when I moved to California, because that was in Oregon, I went to a public school for like 3rd to 5th grade. Had a lot of issues there.
Why?
What the heck? It was just like there was little to no support, and I also feel like the neighborhood I was in was very cliquey, like
Yeah.
from like 3rd grade, you know?
Yeah.
Call them crib babies because they were
babies.
friends since the
Crib
crib.
babies.
Yeah, like
Now, like, is this something? Okay, so right now we're going into you growing up. Then.
okay, yeah.
Okay, so was this like a Jewish centered like school? Was it
No,
just a normal
just
school?
a regular public school.
And where did you grow up?
So a little bit outside of Los
I
Angeles.
see. I see.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Los Angeles people?
I think there is a lot of uniqueness over there.
I mean, I don't mean to. I mean, look, I've been to quite a few cities, right? I feel that city is, you could say, people are somewhat, I guess superficial, narcissistic.
Yeah.
Not obviously not everyone, but I think if you like compared to the average city within
Yeah.
the U.S. and just always on. I feel.
Yeah, and I have a theory about this. I think it's because when you are around such a hot spot of like culture and Hollywood, and like culture, I mean like pop culture, and like
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
I mean, it's like it's media. I completely get it.
Yeah. And so everybody in like every single school, it's a competition to be who can be the best dancer, the best athlete, the best whatever. Because it's like if you think about it. So I actually live close to where Kobe crashed.
Really.
Yeah, like those, like that. So his like sports center that he was going to or from, I don't remember which. That was like I think 15 minutes from where I
Really?
live. Yeah.
Wow.
So like when the whole like bridge and like exit shut down when that happened. So you're around all of these incredible successful people who then also have children, but then you have all of these other kids who just come from a lot of money, who like maybe their parents are successful in whatever fields, but they have access to a lot of money, like the successful parents of like athletes, actors, whatever.
Yeah.
So all of these kids are now competing to be like the best, and
Yeah.
like the kids who don't have those successful parents in like acting or whatever, they're like competing with those acting kids who are like, well, you're just getting this because of your parents or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like a lot of, I don't know, hot-headedness, and I think of
Hot-headedness,
wanting to be,
strong egos,
Yeah.
like relentless desire
Yeah.
to succeed or
yeah,
try to um, try to match the incredible successes that their parents have had. I cannot imagine. Actually, like, look. This is not like in a disrespectful way at all. I'm so glad like my parents are nobodies. Like as in like not famous, not like as my sister would say, she never wanted to go to a school or college where I was there because she never wanted to be Jalen's sister.
oh,
Right? But like that's like a classic trope with like younger siblings. But also when you're a kid from a successful parent, as great as that is, it's like you're always gonna be in your dad or mom's shadow.
yeah,
You know, like I mean, hell, I just saw like Ted Cruz's daughter. Like she's gotten like really famous lately, and like she's like pretty vocal on TikTok and stuff, right? Just like I don't agree with my dad. This I'm bisexual. Oh my god, he's bisexual. Oh, God, Ted Cruz's daughter is bisexual.
yeah,
But and then recently, like she had like a mental health crisis where like police were called because she like cut herself. The media was like spinning it, and people were saying, "Oh, it's because she's bi and her dad."
oh
And
my god,
like she went on TikTok and said like the idea that like people like that journalists are saying this about me. Like I'm 14 years old. I cannot imagine like living life in the public eye as a child.
yeah.
But I'm guessing that you grew up around those people.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what I find like actually really interesting. So I modeled at this like really small boutique store where there's this girl named Jordan Woods. I don't
I think I know who Jordan Woods is.
like right. I think she was on Dance Moms or
She's
something.
on Dance Mom. Did she make the?
A clothing brand too.
Well, like, was she a singer? Oh no,
They're all singers and actors.
Okay, no. I'm thinking of Jordan Sparks.
Jordan Sparks.
Okay, wait. Jordan Woods. I have
Woods.
to look her up. Put a face to her name.
Like I just remember that she was really popular because she had like one of those dogs, a Pomeranian.
Yeah.
Remember when that dog got really popular
Yeah.
in the media and like she like posed with it? That's what I remember.
Just like as a side, the idea that like people buy dog breeds as fucking accessories
You're right.
is so disrespectful to the dogs.
I can't.
Oh, Jordan Woods. Okay. What's she famous for?
I think she was on Dance Moms.
Is that all? Is that
Maybe.
the only reason she's famous?
I don't know. She was also like a popular model. Are you no? Oh my god, not
Not that. Not this
no,
one.
a different Jordan Woods.
Oh my
That's
God. Everyone's got the same damn name.
that's the Kardashian feud one.
Oh, okay.
Wrong Jordan Woods.
The one who cheated on was it Tristan?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
or
Chloe.
whatever.
It's like it's spelled Jordan. Jordan.
Okay, regular Jordan.
Jordan Woods.
Damn. Okay.
Blonde. She's blonde. Okay, well,
Okay.
I know that she's like a public figure
Okay.
for some reason.
Okay.
But like she was in like the same era of like she knew JoJo Siwa.
Oh wow.
Right. So like they were on Dance Moms together or something, but like Jordan Woods, not the Kardashian one, was also like around there. And so I like modeled at the same boutique store, and that was so interesting because like all of the specifically something else that I forgot to mention is that if the parents aren't successful, they're trying to live through their child.
Oh my God.
And it's like
Yeah.
it is that now that's wild.
Living vicariously through your children.
Yeah, I had a friend in middle school who she wanted to be a gymnast, her mom wanted her to be a gymnast, and
Yeah.
she started like hating going to gymnastics, and so I was like, bro, like you should definitely talk to your mom and say this is not something you want to do, and she was like, oh, like I can't do that, and then started going older and she turned more into like dance and like aerial stuff, and then her mom was like, the reason you're like not into this is because of Bella and like blah 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 blah, and I was like, I don't know how
blaming you. That's crazy.
for real.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're like, she's a bad influence on you, and I was like, are you sure? Because your daughter's failing classes. I'm not. Check next.
Wow. Two things to that. I used to be a soccer referee,
Oh, okay.
So I mean, look, I mean, like I'm sure I've told you, right? Like you see everything I've done on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm a surf from a personal trainer. Yeah, I was a life. I mean, oh yeah, well, I'm a lifeguard. I was a soccer referee though,
Okay.
and it was travel. It was pretty high level in high school,
Mm.
and I could tell you. So there's flights, which is like skill level, and then
Okay.
age. So for example, a a flight, which is top level U9 under 9 game. Um, like there was a distinct moment when you met skill level and age. It was no longer about the kids having fun.
Yeah.
It was about these parents who were living vicariously through their children. I remember I mean, speaking of that A Flight U9 game, there was like this dude, right? And look, I am a short king, but this dude had a extreme sense of Napoleon syndrome. He was like I mean, like, look, he was refereeing, I mean, he was coaching 9-year-old girls who were his height, right? I'm sorry, no, I think they were 10. Either way, right? They were his height. This dude was like, he had his freaking like Oakley aviators on. He was like, so big because he was overcompensating, right? With all his fucking muscles. And he's like, Carly, sit down, right? He's like yelling at these girls because they're not playing to the level that he wants them to. And I'm just looking, I'm like, they're fucking 10 years old, bro.
For real.
Like, what are you doing? Like, pretending like it's FIFA and you have like money on this game, right? like, oh God, I hated parents and coaches who do that because you see the kids like miserable. They're not
Yeah.
doing it because they want to.
Yeah.
They're doing it because, like you said, I mean, they're trying to live vicariously,
Yeah.
like just like your friend.
So for
Damn.
her, yeah. And speaking of coaches who did that, so my tennis coach in high school, I could get into him.
Into him.
Coach John, if you're out there listening, I'm coming for you one day.
Coach John.
Coach John.
Damn. So like, who matched you though with Coach John? Was it your parents or was it you?
No. So Coach John, this was for my personal tennis coach. I would never do you like that, Smitty. I would never.
Smitty. Okay.
Smitty, I love Smitty.
Okay.
She's really was like a second parent figure. I had both my parents at home. Like there was nothing bad about that. It was just like I had a lot of mentors outside of my home. So like I had some teachers that I was just very close with
Yeah,
as
of
like another
course.
parent, and like
Yeah.
Smitty was one of those who was
Smitty.
my personal like tennis coach, and she stuck with me for like 7 years.
Love Smitty.
Love Smitty. But Coach John was the school's coach for the girls team.
Okay.
And I've been on varsity or was on varsity from freshman year all the way till my senior year. And so we switched coaches, I think 3 different times because that's how bad it was. Okay, it was bad. But this coach, Coach John, who then switched to the boys tennis coach because he got too many complaints. This one time we were all like not warming up the way he wanted to.
Okay.
And he goes, "If you girls would stop eating all that Chick-fil-A, you'd be able to run faster." I was like, "Are
Chick-fil-A's really
you?" Yeah, no, for real. Chick-fil-A's good. Don't cancel me for that one.
Okay. I'm gonna let you finish, but okay.
Kanye.
Yade off. Okay. Look, I think that Chick-fil-A, it really is a testament to how incredible your product is when you can be openly like homophobic and people still go and eat your food. I mean, Amazon. I mean, I would play this game. I mean, not to keep bouncing companies, but I would just play this game with people of what would Amazon have to do for you to stop using Prime. I
Yeah.
mean, and it got to the point where I was like, they could hold a lottery of like 1 in 100,000 people. They would just like, one of their customers, they would just pick and shoot in the street, and I'd still buy a few packages, right? Like that's a testament to like amazing product.
Customer loyalty.
I mean, that's loyalty. Like, you created such immense value, right?
Wow. So the question would then come in: who's the next Amazon? That's more ethically sound.
The thing is,
That's the next question for businesses. Who's going to be more ethically sound than the current
here's
places?
the thing. If you have a good business and you're powerful and you can't be stopped,
Well-
what incentive do you have to be a good person?
One incentive? Wait.
Well, okay.
Oh, what is the incentive?
What is the
Well,
incentive? I mean, look, like I don't think
Well-
companies are quote unquote good. I think they're just opportunistic, and it just so happens that in our current society, right, being that good, that being seen as the good guy, right, gets you,
Squished.
gets you points, and
Sometimes.
like points is in dollars.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
I know it's. I don't know. I tend to be very stoic about it. Like I don't think that I mean, as good as these companies are, like some of them, for example, going net zero and all this, they're not doing it, for the good of humanity. They're doing it because they want to increase their bottom line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how can we make better companies?
Okay. So okay, this is what we do. I think that. So back to what I was saying. Like my personal philosophy is, I don't think people are necessarily, good or bad. I think they're opportunistic,
I agree.
right? I mean, you can debate that all you want, but the goal that I see is to create a system, create a society where everyone is rationally incentivized to be that good person. And I think generally in our world, it is that way. Like, I'm not going to go out in the street and just pick fights with people because I'm rationally incentivized not to beat people up, right? Not to shoot people in the street. Unless, of course, it's self defense, right? Whatever.
Okay,
Um, I think as long as we move towards a society where we do that, um, honestly, as much as I don't really like social media
Mm.
and I don't like cancel culture, I
Mhm.
do like the accountability aspect. You know, um, like the idea that if a company, like for example, United, when they beat that doctor right up because I mean this was years ago. There was this doctor who so United had overbooked a plane and they needed to kick people off. And technically, there's some weird laws, but you can actually kick people off. But this doctor was like, "No, I have patients. I have to see them, whatever." But he didn't want to move. So then United brought on security, beat him till his nose was bloody, and dragged him off the plane. And then and in the 1950s and 60s, right, without social media, no one would ever hear about that.
Right.
But because there was like videos and because it was so quickly posted on Twitter and Instagram, right? Like he was able to get justice.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that companies are forced to have that accountability now.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of cancel culture in general, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's an example of how our society is being structured around being a good person.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Yeah, definitely. I did not know about that. But like, yeah, no, like the video stuff, that's for companies, like that's crazy. But
Yeah.
also how it like impacts like other people.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think though?
Cancel culture, I think it's so like loaded and like okay, here's something I'll tell you. So as you know, well, as you know, I've told you. So I am verified on TikTok.
Really?
Correct.
Oh, guys, yeah, she's verified on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Now, can
She's
I like,
famous.
can I know?
She's
Can I like
famous.
preface? I got verified in 2018
Yeah.
before it was Musically, and so I got crowned, which now that's a flex. No, I'm kidding.
Crowned?
Crowned because
What does that mean?
So Musically's form of verification was like you got a little crown on your profile.
Oh,
Hence,
okay.
Queen Bella was born. No
Queen
kidding.
Bella.
Which that's a whole other inside joke with like a lot of other people. But like, yeah, I was crowned on Musically, and then when it became TikTok, that like crown carried over into a verification.
Interesting.
Yeah. So what I did on Musically TikTok was American Sign Language videos because
Okay.
my sister, half sister, is hard of hearing and
Wow.
she doesn't know sign language.
This is really cool.
Thank you.
Wow.
So this is like pretty much like my full story because this is pretty much why I got into Northeastern.
Yeah,
I'm like pretty
yeah.
sure. But I taught myself American Sign Language in like 6th grade, started a club in 7th grade, and then my club was like, yo, you got to post to like YouTube or like
yeah.
Musically. And I was
Yeah.
like, no way, I hate social media. You're not going to get me on there. Because this is what happened. In my 7th grade year, they brought in a public speaker
Yeah.
who was about like social media is bad. Like colleges are going to look at it, employers are going to look at it, and you're going to get canceled, and then you're not going to be able to get hired. Like scared the shit out of me. Okay,
Yeah.
I was terrified. So I
Yeah.
took it upon myself to delete every single social media that I had
Uh-huh.
in middle school by myself. And I told my parents, I said, I am not getting on social media. This is not happening.
Damn.
Hold me to this. Like I don't
Damn.
want to do it. So I then decided only to have TikTok or like
Yeah.
Musically, and I started posting on there, and then I accumulated like followers and stuff, and then it kind of just like blew up for a period of like 2 to 3 years, and then one of my videos got reposted by a band called Why Don't We?
Yeah.
Like on Twitter
Yeah.
back in like I think I think my freshman year or
Yeah.
like sophomore year of high school.
Yeah.
Freshman year. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But some people who were like on TikTok and stuff started canceling me
Why?
because they were like, you're appropriating deaf culture by like signing to songs.
Interesting.
And I was just like, what the heck? I was like, wait, I was like, I'm making videos because like my club is like, because like we're all learning together and
Yeah,
like I'm the
yeah,
president. And
yeah.
so I'm posting this not to like make fun. Like I have deaf friends, which is true. Like I ended up going to the deaf community in Southern California because it's like relatively big there.
Yeah.
One of the top interpreting programs is at CSUN, which is like one of the state schools for California.
Hmm.
So like I was around a really good like community to
Yeah.
like also learn
Yeah.
from, and I was signing with deaf people who also told me, hey, I love your videos. What you're doing is really cool. And I
Yeah.
was like, thanks. All of these like other people who weren't deaf, by the way, were saying that I was appropriating their culture. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm like, that's not what I'm trying to do. That's not what I want to do. And so then since then, I like pretty much stopped posting.
Oh, damn, cancel culture won.
I know, and like that's and so
Ah.
like that and like that's like really sad like for me because then
Ah.
it kind of just like I just like lost my little fire
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
posting and stuff and like I
Yeah.
liked the feedback that I got from people on there at the time, but
Um. Well, it's really funny how it's, there's the whole appropriating of culture. Do you know that at concerts they have sign language
yes,
interpreters?
they do, and like,
Yeah.
they're like certified interpreters as well.
Yeah, like and
Yeah.
like I've seen some of those videos. Like some people go like off. They're like,
Oh, I love
you know,
Amber. Yeah,
like
yeah.
like moving to the beat and signing. I'm like, that's so fucking cool.
I wanted to be an interpreter for a period of time because I was like learning all of
Yeah.
this stuff and I was like, this
Yeah.
is so cool. Like I ended up applying to Northeastern because they had a combined like ASL program and also
Yeah.
music,
Yeah.
like slash interpreting.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Then here we are, not
And
doing
okay, so it's okay. So that's the dark side of cancel culture.
that. Yeah.
Do you think now that you are, I guess, more resilient of a person, and if you got that same level of hate today, do you think you'd react the same, or do you think you'd be able to power through it?
I think I'd be able to power through it. I'm not gonna lie.
How old were you when they canceled you?
I was about 13, 14.
Ah, okay,
And that's like
kinda strong.
that's a developmental age.
That's a core memory.
Like,
Oh,
it is.
Oh my
It
god,
is,
that's
and
actually hard.
And it just like terrifies you. And like what was even like worse in my opinion was like I was going to school and people like they didn't know I was canceled. Like it wasn't a huge like, oh my god, Bella, she's canceled, blah blah blah, like all
Yeah,
across
yeah,
campus.
yeah.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
People knew that I was verified and that I got a lot of traction, like a lot. And so people started like recognizing me across campus, being like, "Oh, you're the girl that does sign language." And I was like, "Is that all I'm known for now?" Pretty much being true. I ended up being known for the girl that does sign language. And the school took a picture of like my face, like of my club doing this, which this means like I love you in sign language.
Yeah.
And this banner was posted in front of like our main parking lot for like 3 years. Just like big ass face. And I was like, so you're just gonna leave my face of my club up there, but then you're not actually gonna implement American Sign Language into my high school? Which was another thing that I went to the board of directors and I was like,
Damn.
did this whole petition thing to get ASL part of the curriculum, blah blah
Wow,
blah.
such
Yeah.
a go-getter. Why do you now? What? How is it that you were able to do this? Because not many people are like as like driven or or I mean to do something like that seems like a very confident thing to do. Were you inspired by like your parents? Was there like someone in your life, or was it just you who was like, no, I want to do it?
Like learning ASL?
No, it's just the so Malcolm Gladwell, one of my favorite books of all time, Outliers.
Mhm.
Um, there's this experiment. There was this guy, I think his name was something Terman, and he made like this was a large experiment they did, right? That took like 250,000 children, and he wanted to find like the smartest 1,000. These kids had like massive IQs, like incredibly intelligent, and so he very very famously proclaimed that these 1,000 kids are going to be our lawyers. They're going to be our senators, like successful people. And he followed them essentially for the rest of his life. That was part of his study. He came to realize that, intelligence and success are not correlated. It was a lot more deterministic if someone's success was what side of the tracks they grew up on. Right? Why, for example, I mean, is it the conspiracy that, like, the rich, like, stay rich? It's not necessarily in just, I mean, obviously, like, you're around more opportunity, but it's also in the way that children are raised. go to school, and if you come from like a lower income and or like middle class background, you're told, oh, listen to the teacher, do what's asked, do what's told. But if you come from a more successful background, or from a more successful family, those they teach their kids, you know, see what you can get out of this class. What can you get out of the teacher? They teach these kids to look for opportunity, to find it, and to make to make something within their own image.
Yeah.
So I ask you because that's something that I didn't grow up learning. That's something I had to learn, to be that person, to like that self starter, that go getter, to walk up to the board and say, "Oh, you should do this." The idea that I would tell adults, right, what to do
Yeah.
as a child was so foreign to me for a very long time. So I ask, how do you think that was instilled in you?
Interesting. I think I think I was very lucky. My parents weren't like the kind of parents that were like, I wanted to do this, therefore you should do this. Like my mom, I think she knew I was a weirdo. Like as soon as I came out the womb, like she was like, when I first made eye contact with you, you were gonna be a
Yeah.
free bird. Like I don't know what
Yeah.
it was, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. And my dad has always just been like very supportive.
Yeah.
And like I think I just grew up being a very like inquisitive child. Like with everything around me, I was like,
Yeah.
what can I do? What can I do? What
Yeah.
can I do? I think what really pushed me more, I think, which this is gonna be like this is gonna sound super shitty, was like spite.
Spite.
Yeah, and like
It's a
this is
very
something that I've been
strong
like I've been
determinant.
working on for like a little bit. Like
Really?
we officially like went to therapy because I was bullied for majority of my entire life.
Yeah.
So I like would come home and like my parents obviously were like, we wish we could help you, but like kids are just dicks. Like that's what happened,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I kind of grew up just like being alone and like I'm half an only child but also half the youngest sibling because even though my sisters are 20 years older than me, I grew up
It's
being
a
very
long time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like essential. Wow.
I know.
20 years older.
Yeah, so I'm like 19 going to be 20 and they are 41 and 40.
What type of dynamic is that like?
It's
It's like, if anything, they're more an aunt than anything, it seems like.
they're really like my sisters. I'm not going to lie. Like they're
They
like
are still your sister.
they're like they've never really felt any different I think from like a sibling. I don't know, like I still like they annoyed the shit out of me.
40. Wow.
Yeah. And so I feel I've grown up just around like an older family.
Okay.
And
That
so
sounds interesting. So,
yeah.
do you think then that because you grew up around older people, actually, like, okay, so going psych,
Yes.
having a sibling who's like 20 years older than you, who
Yeah.
is an adult, like,
Yeah.
I think like what, like 30 by the time like you were what, like 10,
Yeah.
or at the time that you went to the board of ed, you were what, 13, they were like 33.
Like married with
Yeah,
kids.
it's like, well, what I'm thinking is, from a relationship aspect, you grew up seeing someone who was much older as, like, seeing them as an equal, because they're
Yeah.
in some way still your sister, and so that experience like bred familiarity with people who you would eventually go to at the board.
Yeah.
Because like when you're a child, everyone, like every adult's like an adult, right?
Yeah.
And and so that's actually so interesting. Like like we're taught this relationship based on your circumstance, that you know adults are nothing to be scared of. They're equal like us.
Yeah.
So then when it came to, you know, I guess talking to older people, there was no like animosity.
No.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a pretty good analysis, I would say.
Because
Yeah.
so I'm part Filipino, and my mom was always like, I mean, in the Filipino culture, I mean, my cousins, for example, call me kuya. Like everyone who's younger than me, that means older brother, right? Ate is older sister. Like my mom was always like, do not ever call someone by an adult by their first name, even if they say call them, Mr. Smith, Mr. whatever. And so I had this intimidation towards, towards people who were older than me. I always saw myself as inferior, so I could never question. Right?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Huh. That is interesting, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah. I think I'm very close with my mom's side of the family. And I feel like I was the youngest for like a really long time. And I just I just grew up with like, I think my favorite part about my family is that like they are adult like children.
Yeah.
Like not as like they have like tantrums or anything, but like it's just they're fun at heart. Like
Yeah.
my mom is 62, and like she still acts like she'll like go and like dance on tabletops like and have
Wow.
fun.
Wow.
Like she's literally like I love that woman. She's great. But like my whole mom's side of the family has always just been so playful and like really stressed the importance of being like be young at heart. You know, it's like work hard and play hard, but it's like don't ever forget that like you're supposed to have fun.
Damn.
Like that, and like I think like that mindset really was just like everything should like things are important, but that doesn't mean that you can't make important things fun. Like I
Interesting.
think that's what I took away a lot.
Wow. Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
So I want to change the subject.
Yeah.
And say that you have a startup.
I do.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah. It's called Peace of Mind, spelled
Okay.
Piece.
Piece.
Yeah. So
Okay.
instead of like peace, it's like a piece.
A piece.
Right.
Is that the sign language for peace?
Well, no, it's not. Imagine. No, it's not. And then the tagline is find your missing piece.
Find your missing piece.
But then spelled like PACE.
So what do you
Switch. It's currently in development, and it's like it was originally an app, but I had to pivot because I realized apps like it would just be another app, and that was not the core issue I was like trying to get into.
Yeah.
I needed to target the very specific one. So my issue was planning your personal care is difficult. You know,
Personal care, like what type of care?
like mental health or like we look at our schedules and I feel like we are like, oh my god, during this block I have to do like this amount of homework or I have to prep for like this test that's coming up, and we lose track of the time so much so that we feel like we can't take time for ourselves. And the reality of us going into our schedules and being like, yeah, I'm going to schedule personal care right here, just not probable, So I wanted to make a web extension that was able to look at your schedule and help you sort your tasks and your calendar like side by side. And with an emphasis and priority on your open blocks being meant for journaling, meditating, setting up some type of consistent practice that helped you more with like reflection or whatever those goals might be. Could be even exercising. But when I came to college and I got tasked with like doing laundry, school, extracurriculars, hanging out with friends, I was like, wait, where can I have the time to actually like chill out and like be by myself? Because I call myself a performing introvert.
Performing introvert.
Yeah, because I would like rather be inside just like doing a puzzle or like reading a book or just like literally anything inside around little to no one than going out, being extroverted and like going to parties, talking to people, like, it's just not me. I'll go out and explore, that's fine, but, like, don't put me in a group to explore.
Yeah.
Like, let me just do one-on-one or by myself. I just like being alone a lot, and I couldn't find that when I first came to college. So I created...
Like you couldn't find a way to be alone in college? Is that what you're saying?
I couldn't find a way to, like, be alone without feeling like I had to do something else.
Oh.
Like, to be busy, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's, like, work culture is like work, especially like when you're in college, and especially going to an academically rigorous one and a college that prioritizes getting your career in line.
Yeah.
It's like everybody is like, I have to be doing something, and if I'm not doing anything, then I'm not being productive.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to be like, no, you can be productive by taking care of yourself.
And so your idea with this is an app that
web extension now.
Well,
web extension now.
Web extension now that like basically sorts out a schedule and gives you time to focus on yourself.
Yeah.
Now, have you looked at like competitors? Because I've actually seen something like this before, an app that like would organize like your schedule into like blocks and then give you like
Motion, Reclaim. Is it what Motion, OcuFlow, Reclaim.ai?
I don't know the names of them, but yeah.
Those ones?
What makes you different?
Yeah. So what I found with all of these competitors is that they're prioritizing professionalism and like being productive. They're like, let's be productive, like so you can get more work done, like whatever. Like let's say I know that Motion claims to like shorten your like time by so that you can fit more things to do in. That's not my goal. I'm not trying to like make you be more professional or make you feel like this is supposed to be like for work and for your career. This is specifically like you scheduling you. It's supposed to be very personal to your mental health, like your personal desires and goals, instead of being like, oh my God, work, 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 work. Because it's just, for me, especially for somebody who isn't sure exactly what they want to do in life, and I hear all of these people who have these like very detailed plans. Because like, let me take a step back. I had a plan for my first co-op, and I was going to take my startup from Pesky Startup Challenge, which shout out to Entrepreneurs Club, definitely should do it. Let me know.
Shout out Entrepreneurship Club.
$10,000 you can win. It could be you. I was one of the finalists last semester, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this, and then I'm gonna develop it like an even more built-out wireframe, which was an app at the time, and then I'm gonna take it through another club on campus as a client, and then I'm going to develop it from there, and then from there I'm gonna go onto the Sherman Center Co-op. None of that happened. Okay, like none of that happened, and now I'm working at a VC, and I would not change. And I wouldn't change it for the world. And the reason is because if I did that exact path that I wanted to do, it would have been an app, and the app would have failed. There were so many loopholes that like I was just like overlooking because I was just like way too confident, and so I needed to slow down. So for somebody who doesn't necessarily have like that detailed like plan of like life like that, doesn't mean that I don't know where I want to go. I do know where I want to go, but it's like I just don't have the exact framework to get there because that is so fluid, you know? And it's like I'm really about how can you feel good about where you're at currently, because that's all you can really focus on.
So like what it sounds like then is, while you may have a similar product, there's a different end goal in mind. So while other companies, their goal is how can you do more, yours, like the purpose of yours is to be enough.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like that. Thank you for summarizing like that. I like that one. Just to be enough. You can exist. You don't have to have everything done. You don't need to do everything right now. But like you can realize that up until this point of you taking a break has been enough. It's sufficient, and you can
that's
rest.
that's an interesting philosophy, because I think that I mean, as a comparison, like I once heard someone give an analogy of European life versus American life.
Yeah.
In Europe, you can actually no. In America, you can fly high, you can fall hard. In Europe, you know, you fly business class on an A320 to your destination, which like essentially is like in America, like there's just so much more opportunity here. There's so much more area, like, you know, to grind, to like, you know, get that American dream. How likely is that? Whatever. But in Europe, it's like we're just coasting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that finally now, for people our age, it's no longer about money. It's no longer really about you know, like financial wealth and success. There's always going to be that group of people.
Yeah.
But now it's about, well, how can I feel fulfilled at my job?
Yeah.
You see, like the 4-day work week is starting to become more popular. People are prioritizing their mental health and living life.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and I think if you choose to target that like macro trend, I think there could be a lot of opportunity in this.
Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what I saw, and I think this is probably one of my favorite stories to tell because I created this idea. It was a shower thought. Like I came up with the idea in the shower. Yeah. And my favorite story, something that I've ran into here is that a lot of people aren't 420 friendly.
Here in Mass, like your friends or what?
Well, like some like friends or just like people that I meet. They're like, oh, like I have my own theories about like if weed makes you anxious. That's my whole other theory, but we'll get into that and like later at a different point.
Take too much, it'll definitely make you anxious. It'll definitely make you anxious.
And I have my theory a little bit about weed is that whatever feelings come up when you're high is supposed to be something that you reflect on and you're supposed to like look at. Like if you're getting anxious, ask yourself why. What is making you anxious? Yeah. Like, look at that a little bit more.
Yeah.
What could it be?
I'm a big fan of articulating your feelings.
Yeah. Dude, yes.
Because, you know, I mean, for example, like asking yourself why to the 5th degree. Yeah. You can really start to unpack this and be like, oh, damn.
You didn't realize that.
One of my favorite quotes is that, you know, fear is just suppressed excitement.
I like that.
And like, you know, finding out how and why that is, right? Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I came here and like people were like against weed, I was like, let me tell you my story with it. Like I came up with my title, Peace of Mind. Originally it was called Mind Now. The fuck does that mean? I don't know. Like mine now. And peace of mind came to me when I was high and doing a puzzle. And I literally was like, puzzle, peace, puzzle, peace, peace. mind meditation, peace of mind, and like, dude, it just like came,
Yeah.
it just like came to me, just floated, and I was like, oh my god, like this is it. That's how I came up with it, and when I told people, I was like, yeah, I was high when I came up with it. They're like, no way. I was like, you can be productive. I was like, you have to learn how to use this stuff to your benefit.
I don't like necessarily smoke, but these are actually infused. Like
Infused weed drinks.
yeah, you even had one?
I'm from California, of
Oh, of
course,
course
I've
you
had them.
No, of course you've had
Not this brand, but like yeah.
I love these because I completely agree with you. I've had some of my most amazing. Oh, if you want,
No, it's
you
okay.
can.
No,
Okay,
I won't take your stash. It's okay.
oh, it's
That's just
fine.
cool.
No, it's all good. I mean, part of me kind of wants to take it now, but then another part of me is like, should I, right now?
You definitely should.
We should. Here, let's take it.
Oh no shit, dude. Yes.
Okay,
you should
hold on.
get sponsored by
Let's
this.
crack them open.
Yeah.
It's like it's only like 5.
That's fine. How does this?
So like mass is super. Like how is what? What is this thing?
What do you mean? What is this thing? Like how do you? Oh, there we go. Got it. Oh. That's interesting. God damn. Like extra security.
My guess is like mass is just super Puritan, and that's why they have like all these labels. Low-key hits kind of like instantly. Not instantly,
yeah,
but
no,
like
I know.
pretty fast.
It absorbs into your bloodstream a lot faster this way.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you so much.
So some of my
Bomb.
oh it is really good. Some of my best like epiphanies actually have come when I'm high.
I'm telling
right?
you.
I think it's I mean I have it because it's a creative tool.
Yes.
It makes you look at the world in completely different ways. And as long as you don't take too much where you get anxious, right? Having just enough. And that's why I prefer these because I have a very low tolerance. There's like nothing in here. I think 5 or 10. You may feel nothing drinking this.
That's not true. I mean, every kind of like variation of weed
Yeah.
does hit differently.
Yeah. But
5
that being
milligrams.
said, I really like it
5.
because it's just enough where like I'm not anxious. I mean, these drinks are made for like 50-year-old white women, right? It's okay. It's all good, right? I mean that's my tolerance level, so you know.
Okay, so there is another like drink that's like this, but it's 100 milligrams and it's strawberry lemonade.
Oh yeah, those are
Crazy. I took some before I went to Six Flags. I was riding high. on
that
roller
sounds
coasters.
really scary. I'm not gonna lie. Being high
What?
at Six Flags.
I love it. I love it. Are you kidding me, dude? I want to go to any amusement park while high. Just so good.
Everything
so good.
is just better. High.
That it. Agreed.
Movies,
Agreed.
music,
Everything.
everything.
Drawing, passions, hiking, anything.
Sexy time.
I could.
Amazing.
It's so true.
Oh my God.
So true. That's how I was kind of first introduced to weed, actually.
Really through sex.
Well, it was like the guy that I was dating.
Makes sense.
Smoked a lot. And I was like, oh, I'm scared. Yeah, because like it was like high school, and my high school. I could talk about this. This is why. Now keep in mind, middle to high school, I was in a private school, and so they did drug tests on us,
Yeah.
and so I was always so nervous that I was gonna get. I was always a goody two shoes, so I was never one of the ones they would suspect. I never got drug tested at that school ever, but I was so nervous that they were going to drug test me that I just like didn't want to like fuck with any drugs or anything.
Yeah.
And so it was like spring break, and he was like no, like you should try like an edible, and I was like. Like, okay, like, fine. And so I did. And then I was like, oh my God, like, this is life changing. And then obviously, like, we're dating. So, like, that's,
Yeah.
then it went
yeah,
there.
I see.
So that's how that happened. And then kind of, I guess, ever since then, I don't know, I like weed.
I see.
Yeah.
Big weed fan.
Big weed
Have
fan.
you been to Hempfest?
Of course, I've been to Hempfest. I've been
course
every
you've been.
year that I've been
Every
in Boston,
single
I've been in Hempfest.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not as strong of a weed user, but I am for legalization. I'm pro. I'm pro. Yeah. What are some thoughts that I've had while high? I mean, a lot of times it'll just me be realizing that my mindset I've had is like it's an incredibly like closed-minded one, and I can finally like step out of the box and be like for example with running Experiential Clothing Co. I forget what it was, but I had a very particular a particular way of carrying out a certain aspect of it, and I remembered so I could be more specific. But it was after getting high that I sit back and be like, wait, why did I just do things like that? Like it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah,
Um, Alex Ramosi is like a huge business guy I follow, and he has this quote. It's we question the beliefs. No, we question the beliefs that we think are true, except for the ones that we truly believe, and those we never question.
that's true.
Like think of like every belief you have, and think of the ones you question. But think of the things. Well, you can't. But think of everything in your life that like you wouldn't even think to question because it's so obvious in your mind. Only to realize that. I mean, like only after you step out of that frame, out of that mindset, do you realize. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. But for some reason in your life, it's led you to think that, like you let yourself to believe that that's the way it is.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to think of like I think going back to like the whole spite stuff, I always felt like I had to like do something to prove a point, like to almost like prove people wrong. Like, I lived off of that for a while.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like I think I like applied to Northeastern because it was like an up and coming like top 50 school, and like one of like the guys that like just made my life a living hell in middle and high school, he was like gonna go to Georgetown, and I was like, well, I'm gonna get into a better school than you. And I was like, boom. And so and like I like yeah, it was.
And it's
Yeah,
amazing what the
that's
power of spite can do. Because I
bad.
feel,
All
I
Taylor
mean,
Swift does. For
maybe
real.
not like quite as strong in terms of like feeling a need to prove myself to others, but I don't like to be wrong.
So
Right?
true.
And well, I mean, like just like I can admit when I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but like if I truly believe something in my mind, I've thought of it. Like I've thought all the angles, and
This is the way.
this is the way.
I got
and
it.
I won't be right. I don't like losing.
Oh yeah.
Like, but the thing is, I don't like losing competitions I set for myself. There's some things that I know I can't win, right? I don't think I could ever win against LeBron James in a one-on-one. Right? Like, not to doubt myself and my lack of self-confidence, but I'm just gonna, he has that one. Right? But other things,
Right.
it's like, nah, let's play.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lose.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have anything like in mind that you've done that you feel like you've been reminded of that?
I think it's okay. This isn't a game. This is a little more abstract, but I love doing things that scare me. Right? I mean, whether it's like saying what's like on my mind because everyone else is thinking it, but they're too scared to say it. Right? I
Are you
mean,
supposed to filter that? I thought we.
you're supposed to filter that.
Oh, didn't know that one.
Filter that? Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, let's see. Saying the things that like everyone is thinking. It could be like in a boardroom and in a meeting, and everyone believes like this thing to be to be untrue, or they have this huge disagreement, but everyone's in it. But but everyone acts like they're in agreement. I'll say no. Like I don't agree with this because what? Because this or that. I'll say the controversial things because I don't know. Like I just like not for the sake of it, but whether it's to move the conversation forward or like to say something like I truly believe, like I will say that. It could be, wanting to go surfing. It could be wanting to surf like a big wave. It could be, I mean, hell, starting a company, right?
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to fight that fear. I don't know. It's really weird. I think like that, and I think the highness in me is starting to get to me, and how I'm thinking about this right now. But yeah, the game of like doing shit that scares me. I love to take that as far as I possibly can. Not to the point it maims me or hurts me, but for the greater good, like for the betterment of me.
Just so you just push your bounds a little bit more.
Yeah.
Things that scare you. I'm trying to. I guess I did this recently because I like that idea, and I would say that I do. I think my dad's always called me very fearless, and in my mind, I'm like, these are just no brainers. What are you talking about? And I think one of the most recent things that I did that got me out of my comfort zone is like going to parties more.
Yeah.
Like I'm just not like
Yeah.
a kind of party person. Like I prefer weed over drinking.
Yeah.
Just like safer and like doesn't make me want to throw
Yeah.
up like
Yeah.
and so I guess like doing that more, and actually I took this really far, like dancing. I'm not a professional dancer. I never was on a dance team. I took like maybe tap lessons when I was like 5 or 6. That's it. But I love dancing and I don't do it a lot because
Yeah.
nobody really likes dancing these
Yeah.
days. What's up with that?
Yeah.
But at these parties, I have like a really good friend, and like his name's Johnny, and him and I just dance together, and it's great. Like,
Yeah.
and I like that's something that I was always like afraid to do because I thought that people were
Yeah.
gonna be like, oh my god, looking at me. But no, it's fun.
Yeah.
And like he's somebody that I trust to like not be gross, like because
Yeah.
like guys get gross. And so
Hot take.
it's hot take.
That's
Hot take.
that's a
Guys are
joke.
gross when dancing.
Damn, that's crazy.
If it's like if they can't dance or if they do dance, the dancing is like grinding, and I'm like, this is not what I want to be doing.
Fair. Fair.
So yeah, I think that's like something I've been doing recently. That
Yeah.
makes,
You talked about the social aspect, and actually, yeah, that's actually a big place. I've like fought to overcome fear. Up until Northeastern, I was incredibly socially anxious. I was very scared of people. I couldn't make conversation, and I used to think that, oh, like, I like had like some genetic stutter. No, it was from immensely low self-confidence. You can actually get a stutter from immensely low self-confidence. And once I got into Northeastern, I was like, fuck this. Like, I am not gonna be this the rest of my life. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw my pride aside, and that meant like, picking up, books to read, like, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh yeah.
And like, like literally googling on YouTube how to make conversation, how to be funny, whatever. Flash forward to when I come to college, and all of a sudden, when everyone's incredibly nervous, during, the icebreakers and stuff, I put myself out there, was just a little bit more confident, would just literally put my phone down and make eye contact and start conversations with people in the elevator. And, that relationship of seeing like, me working on myself and then instant reward, right? Because I only started that whole working on myself, I think, when high school ended, which was around June, and then coming into it in September, and then seeing like the fruits of my labor realized so quickly,
So true.
like incredibly core memory
Yeah.
and foundation for like who I am now. And yeah, so I mean, sometimes it's like, for some, the smallest actions can be someone else's greatest victories.
That's so true.
And like literally like walking up to a group of people who you don't know at a party and saying, hey, right, that can be one of the hardest things in the world to some people.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pretend that like it escapes me, but it's because of that like, I'm like, you know what, no, I want to like force myself to put myself out there. I want to experience, I want to experience my fear head on, right? And that's led to me, like give presentations, like now to go in front of a whole group of people. I mean, to put myself on social media now and give
Yeah.
my own thoughts and be vulnerable,
Yeah.
right? It's like, yeah, it's low key addicting. I think I've just gaslit myself into enjoying fighting fears. You know?
Interesting. You want to know? I think mine. Well, personally. So, do you know about like vibrations of emotions?
Vibrations
Of
is
like emotions.
no.
No. Okay. So it's like basically it's like there's like different like levels of like vibration, and so that's why if somebody's in like a really bad mood, you can pretty much like feel it. Kind of. It's like if someone's like
Interesting.
like how someone's like if you were to ask me and be like, oh my god, how are you? And I was like, I'm fine. And like but like the way that I'm like giving it off.
So like
is, like,
vibration is like degree of emotion.
not like the degree of emotion that like you're like saying, but it like literally how you're just carrying and presenting yourself, like the energy that you are bringing into a situation,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
if somebody's lying about how they're feeling and they're not feeling good, you can tell.
You can tell.
right?
Yeah.
And it's because like lower vibrations, as in like more negative emotions, tend to like vibrate very like heavily around people, and like that's why you can like pick it up sometimes. Like that's why we might have like a gut feeling that like being around somewhere isn't like good, because like literally like the vibration could be like lower and we're like feeling it. And then in the opposite way, you know how somebody like walks into a room and they just light up the room and like
Yeah.
the whole energy just like shifts.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
because they're so like their energy and their vibe is so high, quote unquote, like not actually high, but just like happy and enjoying their presence, that like they just like want to emit that and bring that, and people feel that. So I like strongly believe that whatever emotion you are emitting is going to be similar experiences that like you receive back because it's kind of how like you're interpreting them. You know, we've
Yeah.
talked a little bit about
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So I try to live my life very much. I don't use the word like fear, but I try to have as much fun as possible.
Have as much fun as possible.
And a lot of people may think, "Oh my god, so you're just doing things that are easy?" No. It's not doing things that are easy. It's about being like, "You know what? This situation, this place that I'm at, I'm just going to have fun." And as soon as like my body feels like this isn't good for me anymore, then I'm going to let go. And it's also like I feel like a thing about attachment to things because it's like the more you are attached to something, especially the outcome of that thing, the more you're wrapped up into it and it like emotionally can affect you.
Yeah.
And so I try very hard to not be super attached to things, people, places, or things like that anymore. I'm a very sentimental person. Okay.
Wait, what do you mean don't be attached to people? Like, can you go into that more?
Oh, so like being attached to people, as in like nothing's personal.
Oh,
Like
okay,
you know,
yeah.
as in like if someone like I live with I'm really close with my roommate and I can pick up on her vibes like extremely well. But
Yeah.
like if her vibe is off, I used to think that it was like I did something wrong. I'm like, oh my god, this is my fault. But now I'm just like, no, nothing's personal. If there's a problem, then like it's gonna be brought up.
Yeah.
You know, like if it's very important,
Yeah.
they're gonna bring it up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that has caused me to like free my mind a lot more of useless things. You know,
Yeah.
I don't need to be thinking about, oh my god, why is this person acting like this or like why did this happen like this? It's just to be like, you know what?
Do you know?
Hands off.
Do you know what stoicism is?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That sounds like a very stoic philosophy.
pretty much.
I equally the same way. Focus on what you can change, right?
Mhm.
Accept what you cannot. Because, yeah, to have that emotional attachment to things that you cannot change imposes a burden on you that can become insurmountable,
Yeah.
right? Like, I mean, look, I'm part Filipino, I'm part Haitian. I come from a lineage that is poor squared, right?
Mhm.
You know, like, I've been to the Philippines and I've seen, like, my cousins who live on $50 a month.
Yeah.
I've seen that, and I give when I can, whenever I can. But at the same time, it's like to assume that burden of
Yeah.
like I guess you could potentially make the lineage hundreds of people. I can't because then it would break me. So I accept what I cannot change. But I work on what can.
Yeah.
I'll donate. Like whatever clothes I have, whatever money I have. But just like like just accept things. And I mean equally so with you when you talk about like, oh, when someone's acting like this or acting like that, I'm very much, oh yeah, I don't take it personally,
Yeah.
because a lot of times it really isn't you. And some people do take it personally, and it's like, well, I can't change you, right? It is what it is.
I'm a very sensitive person. It's like that's like one of the hardest lessons to like get over. I'm just always like analyzing myself, my actions, like
Yeah.
what happened, what could have happened. It's exhausting.
It
It's
is.
exhausting,
It
like
is.
to constantly do that. And so that's why I've just been like, you know what? How can I have as much fun as possible? You know?
I feel.
And I think that also like allows you to open up to more opportunities because the more that you're enjoying yourself, the more that you are going to be open-minded to like whatever's happening. Because I feel like when you're in a shit mood, like you're like, fuck this. Like,
Yeah.
you're very
Yeah.
close-minded.
Yeah.
But like when you're just enjoying it and you're looking to seek more enjoyment, then
Yeah.
you're going to find more opportunities.
Yeah. What I like to say is for the love of the game.
Okay. Yeah.
For like why do it for the love of the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm looking, and we're at just over an hour.
Okay.
I think this is typically, excuse me, where we start to wrap things up. Do you have any final thoughts or anything you'd like to say?
Please don't cancel me.
No, everyone, please cancel her. She needs it. She needs the reps. Get those reps in. The more you're canceled, the more you realize that they can't hurt you, and they don't want us to win. They don't want to see us win. Okay.
Okay, that's true. I agree
Please
with that.
cancel her. Her is at Bella Pivo, Bella.Pivo.
Thank you.
On TikTok.
And Instagram.
Please send her really hate.
Really just kick me in my ass right now.
No, don't send her hate comments. I mean, if you have nothing better to do and you're sad and sorry, I guess. But like, maybe you should like go see a therapist. I don't know.
Right. Read a book. Write in a
Take-
journal.
Read a book. I don't know, like The Art of Happiness by the Dalai Lama.
How to Win Friends and Influence People could help
Yeah,
you.
I mean, I just said The Art of Happiness because they're probably not happy if they're making hateful comments towards you.
And if they're making hateful comments, they probably have no friends.
Yeah,
True. You
yeah,
need both those books.
real, real.